All right, guys, we are back. Today we are going to talk about probably the five things that I've done to the car that I think are the most worthwhile, at least from my point of view, for a Corvette of this year. Okay, so my first thing, is this little, I don't know what you call it, splitter bar, division bar right here, going straight across right through here. I'll tell you what, that made a huge difference in just like turning and drivability. I didn't think it would. I really didn't think it would, but it did. Okay, it made a huge difference, and it was probably the most cost-effective item that I bought, because it was like $150 or something like that. So it was the cheapest and probably the best mod that I made. That was huge. Okay, so that was definitely one of the better ones there. The other item is the electric headlights. So now, getting rid of all that vacuum. All the vacuum. I don't have to, there's no vacuum lines in here or anything. Nothing runs off a vacuum anymore. Even this, opens up. There's no more vacuum. That was probably my number 2 item that really made a big impact for, at least, like I said, these C3 Corvettes. Vacuum, at least for this car, because this one has a big cam in it, it doesn't produce a lot of vacuum, hardly any vacuum. So there's, I had to adjust it and make adjustments like that. So that's one of the big items I did for that. One of the next things for handling and everything was the tires and wheels there. That made a huge difference too. Driving down the road, it's now grippier, stickier. It handles much better. You can feel the ride. It's a much better ride with that. Now, I might take this to 6 because that's already 3. So the steering column, I got one with the tilt. So now I can tilt it up and down, so I can tilt the steering up and down. It makes it so much easier to get in and out of the vehicle. Okay, so that was a really huge upgrade, because the other one was just standard, and I got the steering column from 𝐈𝐴𝐷 IT. They have 𝐈𝐴𝐷 IT steering columns. They have a great selection to choose from, so forth. And yeah, we're gonna go to the top 6 actually, because you know what? The digital gauges, they were, they got rid of a lot of problems. The old gauges, they're analog, and got to turn the key upside down. They're all analog and everything, and these ones just shine better. As you can see, let me turn that wheel a little bit. So see, they just shine better. They look better. Everything works, and it just goes into one module, and it works great. I had no problems with them whatsoever. And then the last, but not least, is the Fiero seats. These are Fiero seats, and I got them covered with the original comfort weave in the center here. All right, so I have the original comfort weave. That actually cost me a lot of money to get, because it was extremely hard to find, and there's a premium on that comfort weave. Okay, so, but if I couldn't find the comfort weave, I probably would have went all leather. The comfort weave really does make a difference. If it's out in the sun, you can actually sit on it and it won't burn you. All right, those are, we'll say, the top 6 that I'm really impressed with, and I think that's worth the time and money. In the future, I think the next big upgrade, the big upgrade is going to be a 6-speed transmission. That will make all the difference for this car when I'm driving it down the road. Okay, I need a little bit more money saved up. Things are kind of in transition, and things are kind of tight right now, so that's definitely on the back burner. I am thinking if I get a little bit of money saved up, though, I will get a oil cooler, and I will set an oil cooler up, and I think that'll make the performance of the engine a little bit better, especially when it's hot around here. Because I mean, I live in the freaking desert, and today's like 111 or something stupid like that. So that's what I'm gonna do for the car. If I was to say have like a Chevelle Camaro, Mustang, something like that, the first thing I would do, is change from over to drum brakes over to disc. Luckily on the 69 Corvette, they came with disc brakes, much better. When you have drums in the front, when you slam on the brakes, it sometimes will pull to one way or another, and we got that's kind of a safety issue. So if I was to have a car that didn't have disc brakes, that's the first thing I would change. And then depends on what I had. If it was a convertible, I don't need AC. AC is great, but with a convertible, I have the top off 90% of the time. I've had the top on maybe twice since I've owned it in 2.5 years, and so I don't see the need for a top. The only reason I have a top is when it's cold, believe it or not. So for me out here, it's opposite. All right, but now if I had a hard top, say like a Camaro or a Mustang or whatever, yeah, I'd get like a vintage air or something and throw it in there and make it a lot more comfortable. But for this car, I'm trying to keep all the power. Like I said, I don't have power steering. I don't want anything extra drawn away from the engine. I want this to be more of a performance car, and so I'm trying to convert over to more newer stuff, a retro mod. And then one last thing that I think I might do in the future is I might change the intake and do a EFI, like a sniper EFI or whatever. I need to really look into that, just to see what I need, because I hear you need a different intake, a specific intake for the sniper EFI to work, just magnificent, to work properly. I don't know yet. I've never messed with it. I have no idea. So, but just from what I've read and everything, we'll see. But those are the main mods that I really like. I have to say, guys, really thanks for sticking with me. It means a lot. I started this out as just a little hobby, and for the YouTube, it was more of just a hobby, just to do it and everything. And I'm just really grateful you guys are following me. It's really, encouraging to hear people's, thoughts and stuff. There's been a few bad things people have said, but I don't let it get to me. But now it's kind of turning into a second job, because I want to try to produce higher quality videos for you guys. I'm still trying to figure it out. I got this new camera, so I'm trying to figure it out for you guys, I could figure out what's best, and what's more visually appealing. So we're trying to figure things out, okay? So give me a little bit of time. Maybe we can make a little bit more high quality videos for you guys. And like I said, I really, really appreciate everything you guys have done. I'm not making any money from this yet or anything. I'm only 150 subscribers away from being monetized, and that'd be really cool if I got there. But if not, like I said, I'm just kind of treating this as like a second job. We'll say an intern, because I'm not getting paid. But But yeah, so we're getting there. It'd be cool, like I said, if we were able to actually start making some money, and then I could have a lot more funds and everything to get this done faster and everything like that. So, well, like I said, if not, you guys are still welcome to follow my adventures and see where we go from there. All right, like I said, once again, thank you, and see you next time.